Jesus. So because when you transliterate a name, sometimes you can either translate a name or transliterate a name. For example,
They're not convinced.
for example, if your name's like, let's say George Bush. In China, they call him George Bush as well.
They might add a little consonant or whatever here.
Yeah, they might, if they want to translate it, or they transliterate it to keep the pronunciation. So you can either translate something or transliterate it, which tries to keep the sound. That's why when they say had Jesus, it's translated in Greek. They're trying to transliterate the sound to keep it the same, so it sounds the same as the Hebrew. So then we had the Latin Vulgate. And then we had the King James, because it was so common that it was called Jesus. When the J came, they just they didn't translate it to his, they didn't translate it, they transliterated it. So they kept the
Fair
sound.
enough, okay. So they transliterated it from the Greek, Jesus, to Jesus in the English.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair enough. I don't have a problem with the Greek to English transliteration or translation.
Okay.
What I have an issue with is determining that Jesus' name was Yahushua when there's no mention of Jesus right, in a Hebrew text. You have the Koine Greek text from my understanding of the New Testament.
Yeah.
So where is it that we get, or where do we get, or how can we be sure that this transliteration or translation from Joshua to Jesus is an accurate one?
So when you say from Joshua to Jesus,
so
are you
either
saying
from
in
Yahushua,
the Greek?
to Jesus in the New Testament, how do we get this? How can we be sure that they are the same? Because you're saying Yahushua or Yeshua in the Hebrew translates to Jesus.
Yes.
And I'm saying, how can we be sure of this translation, especially when we talk about Hebrew names? And this is your point, remember? This is your point. Hebrew names have meanings as well.
Yeah.
So how do we know now whether we're supposed to translate or transliterate, whether it's names or actually meanings?
Yeah.
So how do we know it's not supposed to actually be God saves instead of Joshua?
If I just give it to you from the Strong's Concordance, would that be good enough evidence?
I don't know what that is. So
it's just like an interlinear. It gives you you can find out basically any meaning of anything, any word in the Bible. Okay, yeah. So obviously, here's the Acts 7:45. So it says, which are fathers that came after brought with Jesus. So when we go to the interlinear, we look at the Greek word. So it's Jesus.
Jesus, right.
So when we go to the meaning, it says, Jesus, the Son of God, Joshua was the famous captain of the Israelites.
So
we can get from the interlinear, they both had the same name.
So then that raises my point. Why would we translate Jesus into two different names, Joshua and Jesus? They would be consistent.
Because Joshua is the direct translation. A transliteration just tries to keep the sound, so it's not.
Fair enough. So what we're saying is that in the terms of translation, there hasn't been consistency on the behalf of the Bible writers when translating the names.
Into English, So they've gone with it's called an epoch, right? So it's basically an archaism. So basically what they're trying to do is keep the sound original to what like an old time. So basically they're just trying to keep for tradition's sake, keep the pronunciation of the Greek of how people would have been aware of it. Yeah. But this is what we normally see in translation.
But now we're doing a lot of Greek to English. But what we're really concerned about is the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Really, because the Greek is still going to be a translation of whatever the Hebrew was.
So the Hebrew was Yeshua.
Right, but I'm saying you don't have that in the New Testament. You don't have a Hebrew version of the New Testament where you can see it's Yahushua, and then in the Greek it's been translated to
But why would you need that? Because it's like if someone's translating
the reason why you need that is because we need like a
but the thing is we can go through the scholars. The scholars have who know linguistics, who can do they've done the work for us. Okay. So that's why I don't need to necessarily go back and say
fair enough.
Okay.
You would understand that I'm just going to be a bit wary of the fact that biblical scholars are saying that's the meaning, whilst we don't have people or maybe we do, but from my knowledge, we don't have people who every day have the command of the Hebrew language and speak it to themselves.
But the thing is this: we have something called the Peshitta, which is the Syriac Bible.
Right.
So Syriac is a modern day version of Aramaic.
Right. Yeah. It's New Aramaic.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, in that, Jesus is referred to as Yeshua, right?
Okay.
And so you have the Eastern and Western pronunciation. So the Eastern pronounces his name as Isho. The Western Aramaic, Yahweh is salvation.
What? It's translated to English. What? Yeshua. What would be the English?
Joshua. So now the reason why I showed you in Acts they used the name Jesus for Joshua is because they're aware that they had the same name, so it's translating as the same. So it's just to demonstrate to you that Jesus had the same name as
It's
Yeshua.
just a little bit confusing that
Okay.
you would not stay consistent and translate
Yeah,
Joshua as Joshua.
But that's just more human kind of translation. That's fine.
You say that, but you have to read into it. It's something that requires effort and time and study.
But that's
right?
But
So
we've got the
it's a
studies.
further-
We've got you can study it. That's what I'm saying because we have the confirmation interlinear. If you don't want to agree with it, you can research. But what my main point is this: when we look in the Islamic literature, his name is Yusha bin Nun.
Joshua's name is Yusha.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you have Jesus in the Quran. His name is EaSA. So they should have the same name as well.
If you go with the biblical scholar narration,
we have confirmation from the Syriac tradition, the Roman tradition,
the
and the
Bible,
Jewish
when's it dated to?
the Syriac Bible.
Yeah.
That comes from.
Was it Syriac Old Testament or Syriac New Testament?
You have the New and Old Testament. But, so the thing is, before I go into the evidence, I can prove that to you. But what I'm trying to say is, logically, if they had the same name, they should have the same name. Okay, let me.
Yeah,
ask,
so I'm saying logically, if they have the same
let me
name,
ask you this.
Joshua being the earliest pronunciation should be Joshua
Let
in
me
the
start
New
with
Testament.
an easier question. What does your name? What does your name mean?
Which one?
Your name is EaSA.
EaSA.
What does it mean?
I don't know what it is.
So how can you choose a name that you don't know the meaning of? If I say to you, what does Muhammad mean? You'll tell me the praise one, right? Now he's chosen a name for himself that he doesn't know the name.
No, but he has another meaning to it.
Yeah.
Ask him why he chose it.
No.
What's the reason why he chose
okay.
it? Doesn't even have a meaning.
But the thing is, that name could mean donkey.
What does
So
Mark
therefore,
mean?
you're.
What does Mark mean?
I can go to
But it doesn't
interlinear.
mean
What does it mean right
But
now?
it
My
doesn't.
name
It doesn't.
is not Mark.
I'm saying, what does Mark
No,
mean?
but
I'm asking you a question. What does Mark mean?
it makes sense. If you choose a name, that name could mean donkey. So wouldn't it make sense that you check what that name means? So that you make. I'm not trying to.
I know what you're
insult you,
saying. No,
but
no.
I'm trying to say.
You're-
It's like,
the-
if I ask you what your name is, you can tell me what it means. If I ask anyone here, you don't know what your name
The
is.
premise,
You don't know what your name is. Okay. All right.
the premise is sound, yeah?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why the application is not.
Okay.
Because quite clearly I've said I've chosen the name EaSA,
Yeah.
right, out of emulation of a prophet that I love.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I chose it.
All right.
As for the meaning, yeah,
Okay.
not every name necessitates a meaning. But even if it did, the meaning of that name is not known to me. and I'm fine with that.
names don't necessitate a meaning according to who?
Names don't necessitate, according to us now. Like the brother mentioned, he mentioned
Now
the
that
name.
would be a fallacy, an ignorant statement you're making. I'll tell you why. Because if you know the Bible, for example, we always see Abraham's name was changed, right? Jacob's name was changed. Eve was named by Adam.
That's fair
We know
enough.
what Adam means, right? So what I'm trying to say, culturally,
Okay, please,
in
that
the
is
beginning of
too.
time, names have always had a historic meaning, especially in Judaism.
That's a fallacy, first off,
Okay.
because you're going according to biblical tradition.
Again,
right?
we're going
talking
against historical tradition
Yeah,
because
so
we
what is
can
the meaning of Adam?
Adam means from the ground
According to what? What language?
according to Hebrew.
So Adam is a Hebrew
Okay,
name.
in Arabic, what does it mean?
Adam, I don't know.
Okay, shall we go to the interlinear? We can
I'm
just
saying,
we can
you
quickly
just showed
we can
that fallacy
quickly
in your argument, though, anyway.
how?
Because you said Adam means something, but you said according to who?
So we go
So
according
means-
to
so
any
means
any
according to
name has either a verb. We can look at the etymology of a word. So if we don't understand, we can look at the
The
etymology.
thing is, you
to see a name is a compound.
In order to have an etymology,
Yes.
right, you need to be able to go back to a language. Now,
Okay.
Adam precedes all those languages that you're talking about. He precedes Hebrew, precedes Aramaic, precedes Arabic.
Who told you that?
If you've got some fact to say that Adam spoke Hebrew,
That's
present
not what I'm
it.
saying to you. I'm saying
Present
to you.
it, but we have no.
You're making a mistake.
I'm saying we have no evidence. We have no evidence
to
to attribute Adam to the Arabic,
You're
Hebrew,
making a
or
mistake.
Abrahamic or Syriac languages.
Okay.
You don't have any.
Now, let me say this, because we can even argue that Adam's name wasn't Adam, but when it was written in Hebrew, it was classed as Adam. For example, when we look at the Greek, we know Jesus spoke in Hebrew, but we see the translation into the Greek. So therefore, even we can apply that same logic. So even if you wanted to say that Adam's name may have been something else, it would have translated into Adam, which in Hebrew has a meaning.
So we're saying
what
we
I'm trying to say
can
to
easily
you,
translate names.
but
then.
exactly.
So what I'm saying is, why not then just translate the name? So when it comes to Jesus, you're saying that Jesus means God saves. So why not just write God saves instead of
because
and if we're going to translate it, that's
because
what I'm
no, you're getting confused about how we process names. So we either translate them into the language or we transliterate them.
based on what though? There has to be a methodology in doing so.
According to everything we know in this world, we don't need to do it biblically.
No, I'm
For
saying
example,
I'm
if
saying-
any of you speak a language, another language, you will know names in that language that when they're put into English, they'll say it's either transliterated or translated. My name means this in another language. That's what we do with it. Doesn't have to be biblical. You know, these are like linguistic fundamentals that everyone understands. But what I'm trying to say to you is like,
Do you realise that's a refutation of your point though? When you ask me what's my name, EaSA.
Yes.
When I'm called, if I'm called by my mother or any of my companions, they will say to me EaSA. They will not call me by the meaning of what EaSA means.
you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm saying a name has a meaning, but you don't need to call the person by the meaning.
So how is that germane to the topic that we're actually speaking about now?
Because I'm saying to you, the name Yeshua is a compound. So for Yeh is the short form of Yahweh, right? And Shua means to save or salvation. It's a compound name. So we can actually look, if you go and ask someone what does Shua mean in Hebrew, they'll tell you it means save. So we know the name means Yahweh is salvation.
Who would we go back to find
So
out what
example,
Shua means?
For example, we have the name Jibrael. El is always used for God. So the name means he who is mighty like God, right? Anytime you see El in the name, it means, so this is just
I know
common
what El
language.
means, yeah,
exactly.
what
So
is
what
it?
I'm saying to you, any name, okay, give me a name. If you disagree, we'll go to the interlinear because we're trying to work it out.
I'm saying El is the title of God. Yeah.
No, we're saying any language.
Languages share the same meaning. So El in Arabic would be the same meaning.
It may not have the same meaning. That's why you will either translate or transliterate. So
That means
therefore,
God say
if you
wouldn't
have
be in Arabic,
if
then.
you have a name in another language and you transliterate it, you have to go to the original language to understand what that name means. Yes. So therefore, if we have, for example, Jesus in Greek,
I think you overskipped my point.
If we have Jesus in Greek, then we go to the Hebrew to know what it means. If we have the word EaSA, because in the Quran, let me finish my point, Allah gave the name to Mary and Joseph, yes?
No.
Sorry, okay, Mary, to Mary. Now, Mary was what?
Allah gave the name to Mary?
Yes. It was Jibril.
Well, not according to the Quran.
Yeah, according to the Quran, it was Jibril.
Where do you get that from? Because I know that Yahya got his name from the angel.
And
from Allah. But
okay.
As for Isa,
I'm going to have to educate you guys.
Go on, just do it, bro.
All right.
What's your point anyway?